You know, if I'm to take it up from where, I'm sorry to butt in here
yes,
again.
Sir.
If I'm to take it up from where Mark was stopped, you know, when I see the activism in the Niger Delta, one would expect to see some of these people go to the assembly to represent them. So what happens? It must be asked. What happens when they get to the assembly and no one makes any mention of the Niger Delta's plight?
That is why we have gone to court, because we are not politicians, we are lawyers, all of us. We are lawyers from Niger Delta. We did a research.
Okay, your body.
Yes, our body, our group. We'll do the research, because for 50 years this matter has gone on, the courts have not come in. We said, why can't we? Because everybody feels it's non-justiciable. After our research, we were surprised that we could find a way out. So we filed a suit at the Federal High Court in Agoa. In June this year, the judgment was given, the judge declined jurisdiction, though he commended all the lawyers involved for the industry. But he declined jurisdiction. So we are going upstairs to test it. We are the Court of Appeal that will file our papers. But we feel that you don't leave a message and pursue the messengers. That's not true.
But you haven't been pursued so far, have you?
We are not taking laws into our hands.
As a messenger,
we are not taking laws into our hands, because as lawyers we believe in due process.
Exactly.
And that's why I said security compromise, where we have all these Boko Haram and several problems. The federal government, because they are stealing from Niger Delta, compromise security.
Yeah, but you will meet people along the line who will tell you, well, if at that stage, at the number one stage, you can't influence or address these problems, who else can?
Which one stage is that?
If you're at the number one seat in this country,
yes,
you cannot lobby. You cannot make things happen from the way you're talking about it.
That's the problem.
Who else
I
will?
don't want to see Jonathan as a Niger Delta president.
No, we're talking about someone who understands what goes on in that area.
Jonathan is
to influence,
Jonathan is for the. In fact, I voted for Jonathan not because from Niger Delta, because I think that he has a disposition that can make a difference. Because if my brother is there and is head of state, is the president, does he put food on my table? He doesn't.
Doesn't the problem concern
the country? But if he does, if he works well, if there's good governance, you don't need to be my brother or benefits. What I'm saying is that, Jonathan, this is an issue that is exactly constitutional amendment.
Okay, now let's leave the president alone.
And we've gone to the court. Perhaps the court may pronouncement. But I don't expect Jonathan to take a virus with a stroke and solve Niger Delta's problem. That would be height of wishful thinking.
Let's leave the presidency out of this. Now let's take a look at your representatives, because if you say that is a constitutional matter and you insist and you say, okay, you didn't vote the president because it's from the Niger Delta, the question will be, is it that you expect the people in the National Assembly who are from other parts to weep louder than the bereaved? Are you lobbying your own people, or are they even lobbying in the National Assembly? Are you impressing it upon them that this is actually very important and this is one of the reasons why we voted you into where you are?
You see, what I will answer by saying that I've said this before. It is not a Niger Delta problem. It's a Nigerian problem. And the way this country is going...
It's a Niger...
I'm coming. The way this country is going...
Yeah.
It is when you see injustice and you feel it's the duty of everybody to quench it that we'll have peace. Right now...
Mr. Opi,
we are heading
may I say something
to the precipice.
Here?
Yes.
What we all realize is that this country is full of problems.
Yes.
And every area has its own peculiar problems.
Thank you.
Is it in Lagos? They have their own peculiar problems. Is it in Sokoto? They have their own problems. And I would think that every representative or every leader, if you go to the National Assembly, you have your own problems representing, or your people will have problems that you would actually have.
Okay, let me put it this way. I don't hold their brief.
You don't.
I don't hold their brief.
But the reason why this is important is that there are a host of other avenues. You've gone to court. That's just one avenue.
Yeah, we've gone to Geneva World Human Rights Council.
Are you also exploring that particular avenue? I think that's basically what my point is.
Of lobbying our people to do it.
Yes.
We are, but as I said, I will not hold brief for them. We are making representations and all that. This is one of such things. But what I'm trying to say in effect, despite all that, the last person who left here, the military gentleman who left here, said security is everybody's business. I think so. It's a security issue. If you allow injustice to thrive, it's a security issue. It is a security issue. Because at the end of the day, you might be the victim. You might be far away in North. But it could start from Nigeria and cascade down. When you're cheating somebody and you're bringing pain and injustice, do not think you get away with it. No, you can't.
Well,
it will always get round back to you.
But at the end of the day, if we go after the Geneva, the court injunctions, the reports, and all of those, if you kind of get, for want of words, what you actually are seeking for, judgment going in your way, is it the judiciary, the legislature, or the executive that is supposed to execute some of those policies or resolutions?
For instance, we've gone to court, which is why I've always advised people to go to court for constitutional issues. That's how issues become tried or settled.
Yeah, but who will implement at the end of the day?
If the court rules in our favor, for instance, the government is bound to implement it.
That's executive arm of government.
Yes, the executive arm of government will implement it. We are using the African Charter. Nigeria signed that document. The African Charter on Human and People's Rights. After signing it, it took another step to domesticate it at Nigeria's law.
The response,
so we're relying on it.
What could you tell us about when the president received the UNEP report? The expressions, the reactions. We had a lot of people, some who said, wait a minute, if that's the approach, we're not sure we're going to get anywhere with this.
I don't understand.
The UNEP report?
Yes.
Did you see when it was presented to the president?
Yes.
What did you think of his response?
Well, as I said before, I am not holding brief for anybody.
Yeah, I know, but what did you think of it?
He's trying his best as president, just like this oil subsidy. This fuel subsidy I think is a farce. But again, he didn't create the problem. He just has to try his best. But you can understand the problem when you do a little bit of history to see. From 1986, for instance, oil subsidy, we've been having arguments, and somebody believes somewhere that this time around the money will be used. And I go back to my definition of madness or foolishness. You don't repeat the same process and expect a different result. Since 1986, we are getting regulation, remove until now. And somebody believes that money will be spent judiciously. I will not share the optimism. I'm sorry.
All right.
Due respect, I won't share it.
It's going to
go away.
It's going to keep going back and forth because part of it is a political problem, isn't it?
Yes, but which is the Niger Delta crisis. I said every problem in this country.
A quick one here. Has your case been scheduled, fixed for the appeal court?
Appeal? We have filed the appeal and we are right now processing our documentation.
Okay, no date has been given.
No date yet.
All right, sounds interesting, but we'll see how this eventually does go. But thank you very much. Idaye Opi, legal practitioner.
Yes.
Sorry?
Can I conclude with one statement?
All right.
See, I have also worked to the radio before as an announcer. And when I was radio, I used to love this music by pt.2, Equal Rights and Justice. Everybody talks about peace. Nobody talks about justice. And I begin to ask, what peace would you want? Even in your home, in your office. There are different types of peace. You have the temporary peace. You have the peace of a conquered people. But you have the genuine peace that lasts, that only comes through justice.
All right, then. So
let's do justice, then let's talk properly. If not, we'll continue to go around as a country because the cheap funds from the Delta is making governance not think.